I want to go to the next topic we have to talk about. And it's basically what everybody's talking about right now, because it's the next question after you ask, okay, well, we understand why Jalen Brunson took less. Now, looking at Julius Randle, will he take less? What's going on with his contract extension? More than that, will the Knicks even give him that contract extension this offseason, or will they wait till next summer? Well, if you're asking former Knicks GM Scott Perry, right now, he is pushing the Knicks to re-sign Julius Randle. Now, maybe there's a couple of reasons for this. Scott Perry obviously has a great relationship with Julius Randle. He was part of the reason Randle signed with the Knicks. So there's a lot of connections there. According to Scott Perry, he said, on Saturday, Julius Randle became extension eligible. The Knicks should offer him an extension for a few reasons. Great fit with his current roster, accustomed to playing in New York City, and he will be as motivated as ever with unfinished business with this organization. Now, those are some key points from former GM of the Knicks, Scott Perry. I don't agree with him to that degree that the Knicks have to sign him right now, because here's the thing. If the Knicks don't sign him right now, then what does that do to Randle? It puts him in a contract year. Do we remember how Randle looked last time in a contract year? Randle in a contract year last time was one of the best players in the NBA. And I think he could go back to being one of the best players in the NBA, being in another contract year. So it actually supports the Knicks if they don't give him a contract, which according to Ian Bagley, he did report, it's not at the forefront right now of either Randle or the Knicks' minds. They're not thinking about an extension. They're thinking about winning. They're thinking about championships. So everything is pointing to the fact right now that Randle's contract extension is likely going to come next offseason. And I'm perfectly okay with that, because Randle in a contract year, good luck stopping him. Good luck trying to control him. And by the way, another contract year for Randle likely means another All-NBA appearance and another All-Star bid. And if that happens, that's just going to increase his value even more. I'm not worried about Julius Randle at all when it comes to this season. So Scott Perry saying he's going to be even more motivated after getting the contract because he has unfinished business. He already has unfinished business. It's not going to stop him once he gets that contract. In my opinion, it might motivate him a little bit less if he gets paid. If he knows he needs to get paid and he needs to make an example of this season to show why he deserves all of this money, he might be even more motivated. So agree to disagree here with Scott Perry, but I agree with some of his other points. As you see here, he did say he's a great fit with this current team. I agree with that. I also think that he's accustomed to playing in New York City as well. So he's not going to be, rattled by the fans or by losing or by anything like that. He's going to stay focused and do what he needs to do. So I agree with those points from Scott Perry, but again, not absolutely everything. Let's go ahead and review a couple more other people here, because SNY's David Verts also spoke about why the Knicks should offer Julius Randle that contract extension. According to David Verts, he states, the irony in looking for replacement options for Randle is he's exactly what Brunson and the Knicks need right now. An imposing presence who can create shots for himself and others at will, while still bringing the connective tissue that binds this team. We saw that perfect blend of traits in January, but didn't get a chance to see it finally come to fruition in the postseason. That may give pause in extending him. But even if he's still unproven in their eyes, it still makes more sense to retain him long term. Now, the reason Verts is saying that is because let's say the Knicks choose to re-sign him next offseason and don't give him the option to extend with them this offseason, then he's going to accept more money next offseason to re-sign with the Knicks. If you offered him an extension today, maybe he signs for a little bit less. And if he does sign for a little bit less, the Knicks gain more flexibility because of it. There's the other hand of it, though, that Jalen just took less to give the Knicks flexibility. If you use that flexibility to then go around and sign Julius Randle to a contract extension, is that the right way to use Jalen's flexibility? In my opinion, it's not. So I wouldn't give him that contract extension. It does seem like he might not get it anyways. And if we're looking at what Bobby Marks says, an NBA insider, he also gives even more power to the Knicks on why they wouldn't give him a contract extension unless it's for a significantly low amount. Let's take a look at what Bobby Marks has to say here. Shout out to New York Basketball for giving us the following information. This is what Bobby Marks said on Julius Randle's contract extension. According to Marks, if Leon Rose says, hey, we're going to have you decline your option and offer you 3 for $100. I would seriously consider taking that. $100 million guaranteed. I think he's priced right now at $30 million per year. So I think that's what he's saying in terms of Randle taking that extension. Bobby Marks followed up with that and said the following. As I discussed, there's a big difference of what a player is worth compared to what the market says. You get in trouble when you start using player comps. Lauri Markkanen, for example. Every team and how their roster is constructed are different. John Macri also quoted Ian Begley here by stating, Ian also reports that a Randle extension remains not at the forefront for both the Knicks and Julius Randle. So again, Bobby Marks says it. Ian Begley says it. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but let me put this all together and summarize it for you. Unless Randle is willing to take significantly less, we're talking about around $100 million, which, according to Bobby Marks, he's priced perfectly for that right now. That's his market. But that's another conversation for another day. If that's the case, Julius Randle, to some people's point, may want to take less, but may not want to take that less. He may not want to take $100 million when he's eligible for about $181 million. That's significantly less money, and he already took a pay cut. So I don't think Randle's going to do that. And since he's not going to do that, and the Knicks and Julius Randle do not have the contract extension in the forefront of their minds, it's all pointing to the fact that Randle will be extended next offseason by the Knicks, either to stay with this team or to go to a different team. And the only way to answer that question is to see his impact in the postseason, his impact during this regular season, how he's recovering from injuries. All of those things are factors. And until we have answers to those questions, we're not going to know where value is for Randle. We're not going to know how much value you can get back for Randle in any type of deal. And that's going to matter because the Knicks are not going to trade Julius Randle just to trade Randle. It doesn't make sense to do that. Why would they trade him for no reason? It makes more sense to retain Randle, build up his value, and then when a superstar player becomes available, maybe a Giannis or a Joker or a player to that level, then maybe you start talking about a Randle trade. But unless a player like that's available, it won't make sense because you're never going to be able to replicate the value or the impact that Randle has to this team. And I know a lot of people like to write him off because he hasn't been impactful in the postseason. Let me argue this. Has Randle ever had this good of a team around him in a postseason? Look at his squad right now. Jalen Brunson, superstar point guard. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, best wing duo in defense in the NBA today. And then you add to that, hopefully a healthy Mitchell Robinson, one of the best offensive rebounders in the game. What are we talking about? And Randle's skill set is more maximized now. You can't double or triple team Randle in the paint because if you do that, you are leaving Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, to an extent Dante DiVincenzo, to an extent Miles McBride in the corner at the perimeter. If you leave them open, what does that mean? That's an automatic 3, ladies and gentlemen. You're not stopping that. How are you going to do that? It makes no sense for the Knicks to do anything besides rolling out the roster they have right now and seeing what they can do. Because that alone, doing that is going to show them having faith in exactly who they have faith in, the roster that they constructed and they've built up to this point in time. If you enjoyed these clips from the live show, be sure to subscribe to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new episodes or when we go live. Thanks for watching, Knicks fans, and until next time, peace.